Order, honorable members. On behalf of the Minister of Water and Sanitation and her Deputy Minister, would like to welcome the Minister's guests in the gallery and our visitors. Since you are now in the House, you are also the guests of the National Assembly and the Extended Public Committee on Water and Sanitation. There are a bit of housekeeping rules that I think I need to tell you about how you conduct yourself in the gallery. You are not supposed to clap hands when there's something exciting that is said either by the Minister, Deputy Minister, or any of the members. We are also not supposed to interject if there's something that irritates you in one way or the other. You just have to sit there, appreciate, and allow the debate to continue. I'll now ask the Secretary to read the order of the day.
Debate on vote number 36, Water and Sanitation Appropriation Bill.
Honorable the Minister of Water and Sanitation, Monkonyane.
Thank you very much, House Chair. Honorable Chairperson of the Portfolio Committee and members of the Portfolio Committee, our Deputy Minister for Water and Sanitation and other Deputy Ministers present, Cabinet colleagues, honorable members of Parliament, Inkosi Sibonelo Mkhize and the representatives of our King Zwelithini. Let me also acknowledge chairpersons and CEs of water boards and other water sector entities, honored guests, ladies and gentlemen. 60 years ago, the people of South Africa from all walks of life gathered in Kliptown to adopt the Freedom Charter, a document that pronounced that South Africa belongs to all who live in it, black and white, and that no government can justly claim authority unless it is based on the will of all the people. This august body can, indeed, now attest that the will of the people has been achieved through the democratic process, and hence we are gathered here today. A year ago, in pursuit of the ideals enshrined in the Freedom Charter, the National Development Plan was adopted as a program that was to take South Africa forward towards radical socio-economic transformation. In the vision statement, the NDP recounts the story of the journey the country shall have traveled by 2030. The eloquence of the story is not only captured in the pain, anguish, exhilaration, and triumphs of the journey, but also in the poetic execution thereof, and in part it says, and I quote, "We have received the mixed legacy of inequalities, in opportunity, and in where we have lived, but we have agreed to change our narrative of conquest, oppression, and resistance. We felt our way towards a new sense of ourselves, trying, succeeding, and making mistakes, proclaiming success and closing our minds to failure, feeling orientated and disorientated through our own actions, affirming some realities and denying others, proclaiming openness to the world, yet courting insularity, eager to live together, yet finding it difficult to recognize shared burdens, learning to recognize and acknowledge shared successes. Our new story is open-ended with temporary destinations, only for new paths to open up once more. It is a story of unfolding learning. Even when we flounder, we remain hopeful. In this story, we always arrive and depart. We have come a long way." Close quote. In the quest for giving impetus to the NDP, the fifth administration of the democratic dispensation found it befitting to establish a new Department of Water and Sanitation to ensure that the ideals of the Freedom Charter are realized, especially clause 9 that says, and I quote, "There shall be houses, security, and comfort," close quote. In this regard, houses speak to the issue of integrated and sustainable human settlements, progressive spatial development, and the building of strong local government. Security addresses the issues related to food security, public safety, and living free from discrimination. And lastly, comfort speaks to the absence of conflicts, access to water and sanitation, as well as access to equal opportunities, inclusion, and redress. Chairperson, members, as guided by the NDP, the NC Manifesto, our second national water resource strategy will continue to apply a seamless integrated approach to managing our water resources. This is a coordinated approach that is interdepartmental and interrelated to all other departments at national as well as other spheres of government, the private sector, civil society, and our people in general. Honorable Chair and honorable members, since our last address on the budget vote, the department has worked closely with the Department of Cooperative Governance, together with the National Treasury, to develop the Back to Basics program to address challenges faced by local government, strengthening municipalities and instilling a sense of agency towards improving citizens' lives. Clear benchmarks of acceptable performance have been set in an effort to ensure that all municipalities perform their basic responsibilities consistently without fail. Whilst the Back to Basics program is focused on 27 district municipalities, I wish to highlight some of the interventions we have made so far. The department has been tasked by the Presidential Infrastructure Coordinating Committee to intervene where there is critical failure by local government to deliver water services, working in partnership with human settlement and local government. These interventions shall be on a case-by-case basis in accordance with legislation in order to safeguard the well-being of our people. In partnership with the provincial governments of the Eastern Cape and the Northwest, we intervened in municipalities that have been placed under administration in Makana in the Eastern Cape and the Madibeng municipality, as well as Ngaka Mudiri Molema district municipality in the Northwest. An important element of these interventions has been the successful use of our water boards of Amatola, Machalis and Sidibeng, respectively, to supplement the capacity of local government to improve operational performance and build new infrastructure where necessary. In Limpopo, the Lepelle Northern Water has been appointed by our department as an implementing agent for the Mopani District Municipality Revitalization Program that includes various water treatment works, wastewater treatment works, boreholes, as well as pipelines. In Bushbuck Ridge in Mpumalanga, through the Rand Water, we executed an emergency intervention to solve operational problems which were causing water shortages, but now we are rolling out interventions throughout Bushbuck Ridge, block by block, so as to ensure that we do away with the development of the old order of Kwandebele. In each of the identified municipalities, qualified and experienced personnel are being deployed to work and implement a roadmap for a water secure and safe sanitation future, using budgets pulled from national, provincial governments and from the affected local authorities. Honorable Chair, honorable members, we continue to search for solutions to better the lives of our communities, especially women. In this regard, I'm pleased to announce that we have intervened in places like Wamhlabuya Lingana, for an example, to ensure that Umama Dlamini will no longer share water with animals or walk barefooted and pregnant to fetch water in the river. But we have also ensure that Madlamini enjoys the water from the Jozini Dam next to her own village after a whooping 30 years of the existence of the dam. This is part of the process of turning single-purpose into multi-purpose dams across South Africa. We have noted that there exists a persistent threat to our infrastructure as a result of vandalism and criminality. We continue to take steps to protect our water and sanitation infrastructure and ensure continued service delivery. We are working with the law enforcement agencies to deal with these issues, but we are also making interventions on providing adequate infrastructure as compared to those who have been acquiring tenders through the water tanks. The water and sanitation revolution. As we move forward to improve the service delivery of service to our people, we shall pursue the following strategic priorities: water resource management, water infrastructure development, water and sanitation services, and the exercise of regulatory and policy responsibilities. In order to achieve these strategic priorities, we have realized that there is a need for increased impetus and pace. This then calls for a revolution, a water and sanitation revolution, to reclaim and better manage our water in order to tackle the triple challenges of inequality, poverty, and unemployment. The key pillars of this revolution are water conservation and demand management, improving the water mix, transforming the water sector, and bringing in those who have been previously disadvantaged in terms of access and business opportunities. The first pillar of water conservation and demand management shall involve the use of innovation and regulation to reclaim the water that is already developed and available for use. We shall work with all stakeholders to implement water conservation measures to effect a paradigm shift in the way society treats this scarce resource. We shall also seek to move our sanitation systems from highly wasteful waterborne sewage to low water and no water solutions. In these efforts, together with the Department of Human Settlements, we shall collaborate with agencies such as the National Home Builders Registration Council to review regulations that will reduce the size of toilet systems. These innovations can serve to promote new industries and economic opportunities. That also includes retrofitting in some of the established communities. The need for a systems change as we move from highly centralized, expensive wastewater treatment dominance to one that has a combination of centralized and localized waste treatment. The necessity of a movement from a high energy waste treatment and technologies to low energy using and actually energy producing waste systems. The second pillar is of improving the water mix that involves the increased use of variety of water sources in addition to our current reliance on surface water. The third and last pillar is transformation through ensuring that we improve the capacity of the state to better license the use of water, attract and develop skills required in the sector, as well as transfer of skills and knowledge, as we're doing with our own comrades from Cuba on our knowledge and skills transfer project. And we shall also focus on being much more people-centered and supporting new ideas arising from the Smart Minds initiative at the Innovation Hub in Tshwane, such as those of Mr. Paseka Mwemisi Lesolang, a young man who is under 35 years, who has come out with an alternative solution for retrofitting systems to reduce amount of water used for flushing, and he's one of our guests here today. These initiatives shall be carried out in programs and projects that shall be implemented throughout the financial year. Honorable members, the Department of Water and Sanitation presents today a budget of 16 billion. The breakdown of this budget per program is as follows: 1.5 billion rands on administration, 808 million rands on water planning, 12.4 billion rands on water infrastructure development, 1.5 billion rands on water and sanitation services, and 232 on water sector regulations. On the other hand, municipal water infrastructure grant has been given funding to the tune of 2.6 billion, accelerated community infrastructure to the tune of 254 million rands, regional bulk infrastructure to a whopping 6 billion rands that will seek to deal with the 27 priority district municipalities, the Sebokeng sewer network, Pilanesberg in the northwest, Bushbuck Ridge in Mpumalanga, Syferfontein and Lions Park in Gauteng. Water Services Operating Subsidy also has an amount of 612 million rands, and lastly, Water Services Projects to the tune of 210 million rands. In doing all the necessary forward strategic planning for the comprehensive management of our water resources, we shall prioritize the review and implementation of the National Water Resource Strategy 2. Accordingly, the following are the sub-programs of this priority. Firstly, the National Integrated Water Information System, allocation of water in a form of validation and verification of the current licenses, water use licensing. We are also committed to effective planning and regulation in the sector. We continue to plan and conduct feasibility studies. We have initiated a project to review and optimize water resource monitoring. We are also reviewing and rationalizing the water institutions and the structure of the department in line with the new mandate as per the NDP. On sanitation, we will revise the industry norms and standards for sanitation. We've also completed the National Water Amendment Act 27 of 2014. The revision of the water pricing strategy is also essential to address the socio-economic needs of the country as well as equity across the water value chain. We have also, in the meantime, gazetted regulations on the metering of water for irrigation purposes for public comment, and this we will work in consultation with the Department of Agriculture. Beyond the above, water resource management and regulatory activities, the department continues to build and support the building of new infrastructure. The raising of the Glenwilliam Dam wall in the Western Cape at a projected cost of 2.4 billion has already commenced and is due for completion in 2018. In KwaZulu-Natal, Mdloti Development Project, the Hazelmere Wall, and raising the Hazelmere Wall will cost us 528 million to deal with the water pressures of eThekwini as well as Ilembe District Municipality. In Limpopo, we'll be focusing on the Groote River Water Development Project, as well as the Luvuvu River Government Water Scheme that is now being commissioned and is in stages to supply for 800,000 people in 380 communities in Limpopo. We are also working with TCTA to fund many of our projects, and amongst them is the acid mine drainage reuse project in Gauteng. We are ready to move on with this project. Construction of the next phase in the Eastern Basin is due to commence during this financial year 2015, not later than July this year. On Umzimvubu, we are already moving on to establish an interagency program management office. Preliminary estimates indicate that the project will cost 20 billion. What is of importance is us making sure that this project is people-centered and people-driven. And we are making sure that all sectors in the Eastern Cape participate in this project. Phase 2 of the Lesotho Highlands project has commenced since December 2014. We seek to create opportunities for both the people of Lesotho as well as the people of South Africa. On sanitation, in our quest to address sanitation backlog, our priority is to complete the eradication of the use of bucket toilets by December 2015, focusing on the formal townships that still have bucket toilets. We can proudly indicate here, honorable members, that in the last financial year, we eradicated 20,560 bucket toilets. And this new financial year, we will deal with the remaining bucket toilets that will be eradicated at a cost of 975 million. We are focusing on rural household infrastructure that is also going to assist us in delivering an additional 11,000 units in this new financial year. We are committed to sustainable management of water infrastructure. Dam rehabilitation is quite important, and in this financial year, we are looking at the rehabilitation of 44 dams as part of water security in South Africa. Chairperson, as a country, we are part of the family of nations. Already we can proudly say, as the world will be assembling in the United Nations General Assembly, South Africa can proudly indicate that we have already met the Millennium Development Goals and exceeded the targets. On water, we have actually reached 88.3%. On sanitation, we have actually reached 78% coverage. What is important is to deal with the difference and make sure that there's sustainability in the areas where we have delivered. In conclusion, honorable members, I also want to take this opportunity and acknowledge the role that our councillors have played in making sure that we really drive the work that is being done by the department. In eThekwini, we came across one councillor, Councillor Vusumuzi Gebashe, in Inanda Ward 55, who upon our arrival, we all thought...
Order, Honorable Minister, can you take your seat? Honorable Ndlozi, what is the point
Thanks,
you're raising
Honorable.
on?
I rise in terms of Rule 62,
Yes.
which says that a member must, as much as possible, not read a speech, but refer to
Thank
the
you,
speech
Honorable-
as notes.
Honorable
But speak
Ndlozi.
to us without reading a speech
Honorable
about...
Ndlozi, can you take your seat? I have noted the point you are raising, but Minister, continue reading your speech.
Thank you very much for giving me a pause. Honorable members, we arrived there and we saw Councillor Vusumuzi Gebashe, and praises were actually given to him on the good work that he has done to provide sustainable sanitation solutions in the community. And we then can attest that there are good men and women at local government who represent our people. There is also a good example of how we are transforming this sector. In another site in Newlands, we came across a lady chemical engineer, and I know you'll be very excited. Her name is Lungi Zuma, who led a team of scientists from various countries on the continent and in Europe that explores alternative sanitation and technology as part of creating new solutions and creating new industries. In Madibeng, albeit all the problems, as we speak today, Madibeng is the only district municipality where now we have the community water forums being established. Out of the challenges, the community has found it necessary to work together with government in finding sustainable solutions. Gratitude goes to the community of Madibe. Lastly, honorable members, allow me to also take this opportunity and thank members of the Portfolio Committee who have also been exercising serious oversight on the work of the department. Thank our Deputy Minister, the Honorable Chair of the committee, the Director General and Senior Management, and other members of the Water and Sanitation family, including our entities. As we move South Africa forward, let us recall the words of the founding father of our democracy, Nelson Mandela, in a document titled, "Why Advocate for Water, Sanitation and Hygiene?" where President Mandela said, and I quote, "Sanitation is more important than independence. There is no substitute for water." Thank you, Nyabong.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. Honorable Johnson.
Kamala Madoda. Comrades, colleagues, our esteemed guests, fellow South Africans. South Africa drinks from the tap. We say so because South Africa is distinct from your so-called first world, wherein you go there and you are told that you cannot drink from the tap. A rising support of more programs on behalf of the African National Congress, the People's Movement. Support of this budget, Vote 36 allocation to the Department of Water and Sanitation in order to create more opportunities for our people to drink more from the tap and provide more sanitation that is decent for our people. We support this budget vote because when the people of South Africa discovered that as we conducted our very first census in a democratic country in 1996, this revealed some 40% of South Africans had access to safe drinking water. Through their movement, the ANC worked hard to be where we are today, to have achieved 83%, way surpassing the UN MDG goals of 50% by 2015. In the same period, the people of South Africa discovered that a mere 40% had decent sanitation in 1996. A lot of work had to be done to achieve 78% by 2014. Again, going beyond the expected 50% by the UN MDG targets. As we support this budget vote 36, we do so with humility. Once again, we urge the Department of Water and Sanitation to do more with less. Working together with other departments, you can do so much more when collaborating. Fellow South Africans, against this background, anyone in his or her right mind to object to such noble ideals must seriously interrogate his or her party's intention and mission of advancing change in the lives of ordinary people of South Africa. Colleagues, His Excellency President Jacob Zuma, in his State of the Nation address in February this year, affirmed water as a critical resource for economic growth and a better life, in line with his assertion that the overall budget voted increased from 12 billion in 2014-2015 to 16 billion rand. This therefore reflects a real increase of more than 20%. Chairperson, this increase reflects seriousness with which our ANC-led government accords to water and sanitation service delivery. In order to further deliver water services to our people, we need an appropriate legislation that is in keeping with Section 27, Subsection 1, Subsection B of our Constitution of the Republic, effectively declaring water as a human right. Fellow South Africans, much as we drink from the tap, and that we have made such significant strides in turning the tide, we remain with the challenges that impede our people from accessing water in some parts of South Africa and decent sanitation. This includes lack of law enforcement for those that break the law by vandalizing and stealing of copper from our infrastructure, alongside stealing of water by established businesses, delays in issuing water licenses. A case in point in this instance is a commentary that I received from a lady from Gauteng. Her name is Noni Mukose. In 2009, Female Farmer of the Year, having to expand into another 70 hectares in plowing potatoes, she requires water rights. Poor implementation of the broader water resource policies, delays in investment in water infrastructure and maintenance of such, and the erosion of institutional memory in the water sector, along with the loss of experienced water engineers and scientists. DG, as we have seen a number of service delivery protests in the country, it becomes critically important that your department establishes a visible, rapid response unit that responds and proactively deal with water and sanitation-related challenges before they reach such protest stages. Ordinary South Africans must be able to call a toll-free number to report leakages, no water supplies, and vandalism and theft of our infrastructure. Minister and Deputy Minister, I'm pleased to learn that through this budget, a number of job opportunities will be created. To mention just a few, around 40 graduates from the department's Learning Academy will be placed into candidate engineer positions in the medium term. Colleagues, these graduates are young people from the rural areas who will be placed back into their respective municipalities to beef up their needy skills and the department's regional offices to speed up water service delivery to our people. Compatriots, a conscious move to promote black industrialists through such budgets must be part of our daily work experience, both in the area of manufacturing of chemicals, of pipes, and also cement, among others. 21 years since 1994, South Africa continues not to have a single black chemical, pipe, or cement manufacturer, as our infrastructure programs demand of such products. The department has a duty within this financial year to take cue from President Zuma's address in the State of the Nation this year, I quote, set aside 30% of goods to be procured by government having to be done through SMMEs, unquote. Together with the National Treasury and trade and industry, the department must collaboratively come up with a concrete resolution that changes the 90-10 supply chain split that typically favors price above all other variables. This split continues to work against the very objects of our radical economic transformation, and it must change within this financial year. Chairperson, this is a service delivery-oriented budget vote. Fellow South Africans, we are Africans first. Our committee is therefore delighted to see a number of international strategic partnerships that are established and others to be established to an extent maintained through this budget vote. These strategic partnerships are very important to our republic since we heavily rely on transboundary waters or shared water resources such as Limpopo River shared with Botswana, Zimbabwe, and Mozambique, Nkomati River shared with Swaziland and Mozambique, Orange Senku River shared with Lesotho, Botswana, and Namibia, and Maputo Usutu Pongola River shared with Swaziland and Mozambique. These partnerships will ensure that our water supply is secure and our economic development is sustained. Chairperson, it is common knowledge that water is life and sanitation is dignity. We are delighted, therefore, to learn that 32,500 buckets will have to be eradicated in the formal dwellings in this financial year we are upon. In addition, 11,000 inhumane sanitation systems will be replaced with decent sanitation in the 26,000 rural households. Give credit where credit is due. Asina Mona, Asina Nzondo, Asina Kuku, si dumisa nje gamalaka Congolese, nemisebenzi yakhe emihle. Chairperson, allow me to again refer to SONA 2015, wherein His Excellency President Zuma urged all in the country to conserve water because the country is losing almost 7 billion rand per annum due to water losses. DG, to mention among others, it is insufficient for funding for various programs. For example, the Learning Academy could produce more students given the additional funding. As a committee, we therefore support any initiative that is geared towards improving the funding for this budget vote. Doing more with less is the way to go, DG. Creation of economies of scale will take us further, given a bringing together of your SAU Academy initiative now operated by Rand Water, together with Energy and Water SITA, Water Research Commission, and other institutions, both public and private. Chairperson, I therefore conclude this budget vote debate comments in progressively linking up to targets as set in the SONA, NDP, APP, strategic planning, and MTEF. Fellow South Africans, I wouldn't have done my entire job if I had not told the truth as they are in this august house. In opposing such progressive budgets, some of us, friends of the natives, continue the work started by your predecessors in the name of Judge Leon, father of the father of DA, Tony Leon,
Chairperson
who
of
not
the
only
committee.
judged over the ultimate hanging of Solomon Mahlangu in
Chairperson of
1979,
the committee, your time is up.
Judge Leon continued further to hang
Honorable-
Andrew Zondo
Honorable Johnson,
in 1986. I thank
your
you.
time is up. Honorable Palindlela,
Enkosi kakhulu chairperson. Ndiqala ngomama wethu umama uMompati umama owasikhulisayo. Ndithi makalale ngoxolo umama wethu silapha nje kungenxa yokuthanda kwakhe uluntu lonke.
honorable members, can we please lessen our voice so that the speaker on the podium can be heard?
Ingakumbi amakhosikazi. Honorable Chairperson, over the few months I have traveled the country, speaking to and listening to the plight of communities who are affected by the worst living conditions. What I witness, Honorable Chairperson, is despicable. IDKA ayifuni ke lento nimaneni yicho ayicho nakanye into yokuba nangona ingungqa phambili kwinkonzo zoluntu nalapha kweli iphondo dihambele ndazibona imeko ezibhlungu zabantu abangenawo amanzi nabangenawo itoilets. Sifuna ke yazeke lento sihlala ngenxa yokokuba taps are running dry, water is infected, sewage runs through homes and streets in many communities. And we ask ourselves the question, is it really fair for abantu bethu? No. Is this freedom? No. Are these the opportunities that we would create for them? Definitely no. Yolondo ke sincokola nesizwe sonke through our shared values. Freedom, opportunity, and of course fairness. Semkhulu umsebenzi ekufuneka wenziwe liphondo neli lethu esiliphethe ngobunono nakakuhle. Lingungqa phambili iWestern Cape kodwa kufuneka nathi sisebenzile. Last year in a parliamentary reply, the minister revealed that Mangaung's informal settlements still contain over 24,000 self-dug and unventilated pit toilets. Nelson Mandela Bay
Order,
Metro's
honorable
informal...
members, can we please speak a bit lower so that we can hear one another?
Nelson Mandela Bay's Metro informal settlements still contain over 20,000 buckets toilets, and parachuting poor Denny Jordan into the mayor's seat will not erase years of mismanagement and failure in that metro. This, Honorable Chairperson, means that this budget contains some ambitious targets in terms of sanitation, which the DA will be monitoring closely. The government's initial target was to eradicate bucket toilets in the former areas by March 2014. Kusenjalo eBuffalo City, kusenjalo eKakamas, kusenjalo nase Bushbuck Ridge, nase Matole District Municipality. Sithi ke make kuchechwe, sithi ke make inkonzo ziye ebantwini. Ndibulela usihlalo wekomiti ubawo uLulu Johnson ngenkathalo nenkuthazo athe gqolo ukuyinika kuthi sonke singamalungu ale committee. Chairperson, only a DA government can restore the dignity of our people with the delivery of excellent services. Ndiyabonga Somyo.
Honorable Kaula. Order, honorable members. Order, Mamukawula ungakhuluma.
Ngibonge sihlalo. Ngibabingelele bonke nalabo abangapha bathethayo kunzima. Okokuqala nje bekithi ake ngisho ukuthi ihlazo leli kulona ikhuluma bukani nje. Ama province awu9. Abantu. Okay. Okay, okokuqala nje. Njenge EFF asihambisani nale budget ngoba okokuqala ayibasizi abantu bakithi base South Africa abasahluphekayo.
Order, members. Order. Can we please lessen our voices?
Abantu baseMzansi Afrika abanikwe inhlonipho ukuthi banikezwe isithunzi ukuthi bathole intuthuko ngendlela efanele yilo hulumeni weANC. Kumanje lapha ku ward 19 naku ward 10 naku ward 4 esidumbini abantu amanzi abanawo emakhaya. Ompompi bome inhlali akukho ngisho ithonsi izingane azinamanzi ngisho okuphuza ezikoleni. Ama toilet akude nesikole nawo angcolile ngale kwama emaqokomela school. Minister, okubhlungu kuzwa kabi umphathela.
Mam Kaula, can you please take your seat? Order, what is the point of order? Honorable Mafu.
Ndiyabonga mhlali ngaphambili. Bendithi phansi komthetho ongu rule 62 bendimcela torhwana obekekileyo uMamukawula angafundi athethe nje.
Honorable Mafu, I've heard you, but can I allow Mam Kaula to proceed? Order. Honorable Ndlozi, can you take a seat, Mam Kaula?
No, Honorable Chairperson, we must not allow ignorance to flourish in the House.
Honorable
Chair,
Ndlozi,
can I address you, Honorable
can you address me
Chairperson?
on what point, Ndlozi?
The Rule 62, the Honorable Member is misleading the House. Rule 62 doesn't say members should not read. It says they must... Can I
Order,
speak?
Honorable Member.
It says, Rule 62 says, they must not only read, they must read to refer to notes. So, Mam Kaula
Order.
showed you a picture, addressed you,
Order.
and she's
Honorable
continuing
Ndlozi.
to speak. Please,
Honorable
Honorable
Ndlozi, can you
Chairperson,
take your seat?
Can you protect the
Can you
speakers on
take
the
your
table?
seat? Honorable members, Mam Kaula, can you take your seat?
Okay.
Honorable members, I think all members do know the rules. If not, they can refer to them again. But really, I think we need to offer one another respect. And, you know, the across the floor communication is okay, but it mustn't drown the speaker. Can we allow Mamu Kaula to proceed?
Bengizocela ke sihlalo ngibuyisela ama minute ami. Okwenzekayo
Didn't
ke
take your minutes, Ma. We stopped the watch.
Makwenzeka ayifika amanzi emakhaya. Ihlazo nento enzima. Ama trunk labizwa ngama waterkan, especially kumasipala weLembe. Uletha amathanki ebusuku ngo12. Okubhlungu umbuzo wami uthi labo mama mabenze kanjani. Okwesibili into ayenza lo masipala waseLembeni. Abantu basemakhaya imigwaqo ayikho emaduze. Akamemezeli instead nokuthi atshela abantu ukuthi abezeleke nemphongo yilo yabo. Uvela nje yena afika ngalo 12. After that useyahamba. Uzoyibonela ongatholile nala umanzi afika once ngebhadi angikhuluma indaba kaHSA ngikhuluma ngento engiyibona minister nalendaba yabantu abahlala laphayana emakhaya bekufuneka bakithi nabe ke benikwe isithunzi ngoba bangabantu base South Africa abavotayo intuthuko bayayidinga and mabeyidinga lentuthuko akuyeke ukuthi bese makuza intuthuko bisiyasefwa ukuthi leyi emadolobheni leyi emakhaya ngoba naba abantu nabo bayavota. Minister, ngizokubuyela kuwena ngokhansela Dumusho manje wase Ward 55 uGebasha ihlazo lelo engizolisho phambi kwakho mhlambe uqobo usihlalo wekomiti uyazi ngihlezi ngikhala uyabo ngiyiphize ngayibhala la akenzi lutho abantu babeshanga ishimashe. Mina bengicela ukuthi ake niyeke ukulalela ngamakhansela ake niyeke futhi minister ukuthi nizwe abantu beANC bethi bona basupporta ngoba abantu bayabavotela. It's not about ukuthi abantu bayakuvotela kuphela ukuthi kuze intuthuko kubantu ngendlela efanele. Lapha ke eKapa ngibuyele eKapa manje eKapa no eKapa la yihlazo elinzima ukuze ubone ukuthi kulo ndawo kunabantu abamnyama uzozwa ngephunga.
Order, honorable
ukuze
members.
ubone ukuthi kunabantu uzozwa ngephunga nalapho angikhulumi ngemita ngikhuluma ngokuya ngizibonela ekhaya mnandi lephansi abantu besifazane basebenza kuyindle abantu besifazane babamba iqueue beye toilet elikude.
Honorable member, your time is up.
Esikoleni enembeni ku Ward 19 ingane
Honorable
zinamanzi.
Kaula, your time is up.
Lalelani siyacela bakithi ngoba lokho ukuthi niyaqhuba
Order.
kushola ukuthi ukuqhuba ngenye indlela
Order, Ma'am
ngomcacisela
Khawula.
niqhubela ukuthi umuntu itholile
Ma'am
intuthuko
Khawula.
akayitholanga nina niyaqhuba. No it is
Order.
wrong, totally wrong. Amakhansela wena are wrong.
Ma'am Khawula, your time is up.
Abantu base South Africa.
Order.
We are not about organization.
Order.
We are about abantu base South Africa.
Ma'am Khawula, your time is
Mina
up.
ngiphuza amanzi aclean abantu baphuza
Ma'am
amanzi
Khawula.
ayikaniphuzela abantu amanzi
Order.
aclean.
Honorable members. Order, honorable members. In order for us to have a fruitful debate, I think it is important to also be respectful of one another and of time. Minister was very exemplary. She actually had 1 minute left of her time. There is a watch on your left, which members must assist the chair by looking at it. But when members are asked that the time is up, they should wind up and be able to sit down. I have been very conscious that sometimes you are in the middle of your sentence and therefore allow you to wind up. I really would ask us to ensure that we respect the debate, but also we respect our guests in the gallery and South Africans at large. Thank you, honorable members. I know from now on you will be very respectful and very honorable, all of you. Even if you have issues, Honorable Ndlozi, you can take a seat.
Honorable Chair, may I please...
What is the point of order?
Chair, there is a real problem, which I think all of us who stand there every day want to speak, we are experiencing. And that I think is going to contribute to a proper debate. These comrades on our side must know the difference between howling
Order.
and drowning the speaker.
Honorable Ndlozi.
And you are not tough on them, Honorable Chairperson.
Order.
You must point them out so
Honorable
that they
Ndlozi.
stop drowning speakers.
Honorable Ndlozi.
Please, Honorable.
Honorable
it's a request
Ndlozi,
we
can
are
you take
making
your
Order.
seat?
Order,
respectfully.
Can you
Order,
please take
Chairperson.
your seat, Honorable Ndlozi?
Order, Chairperson.
Honorable member. Can I just finish? Honorable Ndlozi, that is not a point of order. However, if you have got a point, you are a member of the Chief Whips Forum. These issues can be debated there. I think for now, let's assist each other and ensure that the debate go accordingly. Honorable member, what point are you raising on?
No, Chairperson, I'm raising on a point of order that you must rule on this matter of rudeness. that members of parliament should speak whilst you are speaking is wrong. You must take a ruling on that rudeness.
Order, honorable member. Thank you very much. I think I've asked all of us in this house as members that let's be respectful. Let's make sure that we assist the debate. Indeed, members can interject, but I think we should do so in a manner that doesn't disrupt the house, but also does not make people not to be heard when they are on the podium. I am sure, as I said, I trust all of you that you will indeed from now on make sure that Honorable Minister's debate and her deputy goes accordingly. And really, I'm sure all of us are very interested on the issues that members are raising coming from their constituency. Order, Honorable Kaula.
Bengicela ukuthi siqale phansi ngoba manje khona ukugcina ungasakusho. Njengokuthi ngifuna ukubonga kuminister nje khona umnyango wakho ongisebenzela kahle kabi.
Order, Honorable
Ama officially
Kaula.
kodwa hayi amakhansela.
Order, Honorable Kaula. You will be able to write to the minister and express your appreciation. Can we now move to the honorable member, Honorable Kekane?
Honorable Chairperson, Honorable Minister Nomvula Makonyane, Honorable Deputy Minister Pam Chwete, Honorable members, ladies and gentlemen. Ke ema mo boemong jwa African National Congress, ANC, ke ema no ke budget vote 36 ya lefapha la metsi le kgelelo ya leswe. Lefapha la metsi le botlhokwa thata. Le tla tlisa diphetogo tlhabololo le kgolo mo Afrika Borwa. The National Water Resources Strategy e tlhagisa jana fa ke lopola ditogamano tsa go tsenya tiriso molao wa bosetšhaba wa metsi ga di kitla di diragadiwa sentle fa go na le batho ba le malwa ba ba nang le bokgoni ba ba go tsenya tirisong. Go botlhokwa go netefatsa gore re natlafatsa batho ba ba ka tsenyang tirisong di-policy le molao ona wa metsi. Mafapha otlhe a puso a amogela gore lefapha leno la metsi le itemogela kgwetlho ya tlhaelo ya bokgoni e seng fela mo go reboleng ditirelo mme segolobogolo go tlhokomela metswedi ya rona ya metsi. Dikgwetlho le mandate wa go tokafatsa bokgoni di tlisitse ditlhabololo di le mmalwa. Puso ya bosetšhaba e tsaya maikarabelo a go gokaganya thuto, go katisa le go tokafatsa bokgoni ka disita tsa lefapha la thuto e kgolwane. Energy and water sector education e neetswe maikarabelo a go gokaganya, go tsamaisa, go tlhabolola le go natlafatsa bokgoni. Se ke go ya ka di-skills development. Strategy 111 Human Resource Development, Strategy 11 le New Growth Path National Skills Accord, magareng ga puso, kgwebo le badiri. Energy and Water Sector Skills Plan ya 2011 le 2016 e tlhagisitse tlhaelo e latelang ya bokgoni, diphatlatiro tsa engineering tse di tlhokegang le di-project managers, di-engineering tse di nang le technical management skills mmogo le di-construction managers, tlhokego ya di-artisan le di-construction process. Lefapha le na le baemegi le ba tsaya karolo ba bontsi ba jone bo thibang letsatsi. Baamegi ba lebileng dikgatlhegelo le di-mandate tse di farologaneng jaaka go natlafatsa le go katisa badiri. Go botlhokwa go lemoga gore baamegi ba emela puso, ditheo le di-agency tsa thuto le katiso, di-agency tsa metsi le ditheo tsa setšhaba. Ke a kgola lefapha mmogo le Rent Water Board e tshwereng ka natla go rarabolola dikgwetlho tse di itemogelwang. Ruri metswedi ya metsi e tlhokometswe go ka neela baagi ditirelo ka tlhomamo. Re tlile go fitlhelela metsi rotlhe le ba ba sa kolobediwang tota ba tla kolobediwa. Learning Academy ya lefapha leno e tla tsibogela ka ponyo ya leitlho tlhaelo ya bokgoni mo lefapheng. Ga ke re gatwe, Academy e tla thibela le go kumula ka medi bothata jono jwa tlhaelo ya bokgoni. Ditlamelwana tsa pula di baakangwa go sa le gale. Ga re kitla re baya matsogo mo tlhogong fa ba engineeri magolo a thapilweng mo tirong a rola tiro ka ntlha ya bogodi. Mo tsamaong ya nako, Academy e tla tlhagisa bokgoni jwa maemo a godimo mo mererong ya metsi, kgelelo ya leswe, bommankge ba saense, tsamaiso le boenjeneri. Tlhaelo e mo lefapheng e tla nna selo sa maloba. Learning Academy e netefatsa gore batho ba bone kitso, e fitlhelela batho gore setšhaba se tlhaloganye lefapha leno. Academy e bile gape e ema nokeng diporograma tsa thuto le katiso mo Aforika Borwa. E tla abela bašwa dibasari le go ba katisa ba ithutela tirong. Mo godimo ga moo, Academy e na le ditsereganyo katiso tse di kgethegileng tse di tubileng bašwa ba ba senang maitemogelo. Project e samagana le tlhaelo ya bokgoni jwa setegeniki, tlhaelo ya bokgoni jwa go rebolela ditiro tsa metsi ka kakaretso, togamano ya go tlhagisa bokgoni. Ditogamano di teng ebile lefapha di itse sentle le gore di ka dira jang leng ka nako mang.
Honorable member, your time is up.
Ke a leboga.
Honorable Mpochana.
Thank you, Honorable House Chairperson, Honorable Ministers. Participating in this debate is disenabling. It is disenabling in many ways. It is, in fact, so disenabling that it somewhat becomes futile to participate in this debate. The figures that have been bandied around today are meaningless to a people who are without water. Our water supply and its sustainability hang precariously in the balance. This is largely due to neglect of infrastructure, maintenance, and general departmental attitude of tomorrow is another day. In April 2013, I wrote to the then DDG of Water and Environmental Affairs and alerted her to the fact that the Shemula water scheme at Jozini had become dysfunctional and that the taps had run dry for residents in that area. In my 2014-15 budget speech, I drew the minister's attention to the water situation in Mkanyagote. The question is, has the situation changed? It's a big no. All what we are confronted with are the confused and confusing lines of accountability. Our committee chairperson, Honorable Lulu Johnson, has rightly and continuously asked this question: who owns water in South Africa? There has never been an answer to this question. This confused and confusing line of accountability still plays itself out in Mkanyagote district. Umhlatuze Water is responsible for water project in the district. Some of the companies which were employed by Umhlatuze Water were found to be incompetent. Busisa General Construction is one such company. Some companies, because they have not been paid by the district, stopped operating. But you ask yourself, where is the Department of Water and Sanitation when water delivery fails on such a scale? Minister, you cannot simply wash your hands of this because there is no water. A government report released towards the end of last year stated that approximately 293 billion would need to be spent over the next 5 years if we were to forestall a looming water crisis. Where is the budget for this amount of spending? In fact, to the department's credit, the department has spent huge amounts of money for Jozini water supply over the past years, but the community still does not have water. Where is the money going to? It is left underground in the defective substandard piping while the community still drinks water from swamps with donkeys, goats, and cows. When it comes to sanitation, I agree that we need to generate new sanitation regulations that are sustainable and will meet our current and future needs. The minister speaking on national television during her visit to KZN was seen advocating the pit-type toilets as a way of conserving water which we use to flush toilets. This may well be the case, but we must be wary of the solutions that come from research which is designed for specific groups of people. Again, in my budget speech last year, I refer to the one-roomed houses that were built with septic tanks in the Mbazwane area in the Mhlabi-Alingan municipality. Those septic tanks have never worked. No corrective measures have been taken as we speak, and they still stink. In conclusion, Minister, let me start from the beginning. Participating in this debate is enabling. How do I continuously stand before my constituency empty-handed? Do I talk
Order,
about your
honourable
good story
member.
to tell, or do I tell them that the department is functional,
Order,
not delivering
Honourable
on its
Mbonjane,
mandate?
your time
The
is
buck
up.
stops with you, Honourable Minister. I thank you.
Honourable Shelembe.
Honorable Chairperson, Hlonishwa Ngqongqoshe. Njengoba ngikhuluma nje sengiyababona abantu abawatholile amanzi balindile kumanje njengoba ngikhuluma nje. Engicabanga ukuthi ngeke ke sikubangela umsindo lo ngoba sonke simise ukuthi bawathola amanzi. South Africa is the 30th driest country in the world, and water is a finite national resource. For this reason, the Department of Water and Sanitation is, in our view, probably one of the most important departments in our government structure. It is tasked with our national water security and to provide sustainable and universal access to water and sanitation service for all our people. This mandate, Chairperson, speak directly to our Constitution for what is a basic need of life, and sanitation speak to the dignity and health of our people. Chairperson, a 2014 report by the Institute of Security Studies estimates that South Africans use 235 liters of water each a day compared to the international average of 173 liters a day. And this will push the country into a water crisis that will, within a decade, rival the electricity catastrophe. This looming crisis, however, is not only due to high usage, but also because of aging infrastructure and a backlog of water delivery to communities because not enough money is being pumped into infrastructure. The budget table here today, totaling 16.3 billion, of which 12.4 billion is allocated for water infrastructure development, once again shows that the government is not investing sufficient funds in averting the water looming crisis. How it is possible that the ANC government can spend more on, for example, correctional services with a budget of 20 billion, yet not enough funds to invest in water security. Within 10 years from now, we will be burdened with a tap shedding, as we are burdened with load shedding now. And then there will be no blaming of the apathy. The government is aware of the looming crisis and is not doing enough to avert it. Given that the government is not investing sufficiently in building new dams, and the NFP suggests that we should at least give higher priority to water management. The budget tabled before us, however, does not give us any clear indication how the department intends to deal with water management. Water loss and ways to combat it is another concern which has not been sufficiently addressed in the budget. The major causes of water loss is country infrastructure and inadequate maintenance, vandalism, and leaks which are not reported timelessly. Programs such as War on Leaks and the No Drop report are useful, but they do not give us the answers to the problem. We need more concrete goals to be set by the department and the clarity on how it intends to address the problem of water loss. Effective wastewater management will go a long way to managing and maximizing our existing water resources. The NFP believes that municipalities, and in particular Category B municipalities, are in need of wastewater treatment plants that are simple and effective and are energy efficient and low maintenance. The need has never been greater. Plants which deliver high-quality treated water consistently and which require only semi-skilled operators could be the way forward. Water from such plants could easily be used for irrigation or even for reuse in the industrial applications. Once again, the budget table is scant on any tangible priorities awarded to an important issue such as wastewater management. Ayiphathi-ke nonosheka indaba-ke yasejozini njengoba ngikhuluma nje manje bayakhala hayi impela akekho ngempela manje ngayiphi inkulumo
Lungehloniphekile, isikhathi sakho sesiphelile.
njengamanje ngithi-ke ngiyayisupport ibudget kodwa ungakhohlwa ukuthi ejozini kubi
Honorable the Deputy Minister of Water and Sanitation, Honorable Chwete.
Honorable Chairperson, Honorable Ministers and Deputy Ministers, His Majesty the King, represented in the House, Honorable Members of Parliament, Chairpersons, Chief Executive of Water Entities, Honorable guests, ladies and gentlemen. The budget we are presenting today seeks to redress the apartheid legacy of inequality in relation to socio-economic and political conditions the majority of our people continue to face in this country. The 1913 Native Land Act and Group Areas Act left the poor with no land rights, a condition directly linked to water rights. Honorable Chairperson, the infrastructure development of the past targeted the rich and the affluent suburbs. It is through this budget that will pave a way towards a better life and bring dignity to the lives of all South Africans. The department traveled the length and breadth of the country, creating critical link with communities, water entities, business organizations, municipalities, traditional institutions, provinces, academic institutions, the sector organizations, to mobilize them into water and sanitation family. Through vigorous public participation activities, in the past year, the department has raised the expected level of awareness regarding South Africa's water resources, water conservation, water supply, water reticulation, and management. The Department of Water and Sanitation has moved South Africa to recognize that the natural resources such as fresh water, arable land, clean air, plants, and animals have limited lifespan. We look forward to our collaboration with organizations like World Wildlife Fund, who offer strong civil society support. As government and a nation, we have to protect these resources to ensure ongoing food security, human health, and overall economic prosperity. Although we have made progress in this regard, we continue to face challenges such as vandalism and theft of public infrastructure, inadequate supply of water reticulation infrastructure, shortage of technical skills based to address the growing demand of water and sanitation, persistently low levels of understanding around issues of water pollution and environmentally friendly sanitation systems. Honorable Chairperson, recently the department held a very successful imbizo in KZN and received overwhelming support from traditional leaders, including His Majesty the King. Today, the King is represented by two princes who are present in this house. We would like to acknowledge the presence of Prince Sabelo Zulu and Prince Tulani Zulu. They are from KZN. During the launch of Adopter River in Limpopo last week, the department was supported by Chikundu Traditional Council. In the 9 provinces, the department will continue to mobilize and work on water and sanitation development projects with traditional leaders, community service organization, non-governmental community-based organization. Honorable members, as the minister has indicated, the overall budget structure and the planned activities for the year in the 5 programs, my office has identified the following programs to support these planned activities. The 2020 Vision for Water Sanitation Program is aimed at creating community awareness in water resource management, In 2014-2015, the department planned to reach out to 5,500 schools. This number was exceeded by far, and at the end, the final record was 7,336 schools. Through this campaign, we encourage the participating schools with the best education, water and sanitation practices by awarding 5 media classrooms per year. The following schools were awarded media classrooms in the last financial year: Umbu Junior Secondary School and Mpumalanga Primary School in Nelson Mandela Metro Municipality. Marota and Solomon Dale Primary School in Limpopo, Midrand Primary School in Gauteng. We would like to thank the MTN Foundation for their investment in education. We look forward to collaborating further in future. In addition to the above achievement, a joint water project initiated by Department and the Wildlife Environment Society of South Africa, Eco School, was awarded a United Nations Award for Water for Life Best Practice. It's us, Tatum Ponchan. National Youth Water Sanitation Summit, Honorable Chairperson, the department will be hosting the 7th Youth Water Sanitation Summit from the 29th and June.
Chairperson.
On what issue are you raising, Honourable Member?
Chairperson, you are probably aware that the Honourable Minister is addressing me. On that basis, can the Minister take a question as to when are we likely to get water in Jozini?
Before you pose the question, can we ask the Deputy Minister whether she will take a question? Deputy Minister?
No, you're wasting my time.
Thank you.
I'm not going to take questions.
You have your answer.
You ask me outside, I'll give you the answer. 29th of June to the 2nd of July 2015 in Johannesburg, that's the summit that we're going to host, which is about information sharing and knowledge acquisition in topical water and sanitation sector issues. The department has a memorandum of understanding with the Department of Public Works for training and development of youth in scarce skills. The department is in process of engaging some municipalities, and there is a continued effort to finalize implementation plans. The department has 4 programs that are aimed at empowering youth, women, and people with disabilities within the water and sanitation sector, and they will be given priority. The program includes, among others, Women in Water and Sanitation Awards, Adopt a River program, War on Leaks. The department has configured workable concepts to the above programs for their implementation in the new financial year. We will also ensure that the big service providers partner with the youth and women to empower them. The department is still rolling out water and sanitation services to the rural areas by using modern technologies because poor sanitation and water supply affect women and children more and impact greatly on the health of women and children. The department continues to award bursaries to needy learners as part of the development programs of the Learning Academy. To date, we are proud to say that 231 graduate trainees have been offered permanent posts within department after completing their studies. Siyaqhuba. Over the next medium-term expenditure framework cycle, the department will increase the intake of graduates into the Learning Academy by no less than 200 graduates, with a combined budget expenditure of not less than 150 million. The increase in the number of young people joining the program will provide the department and the water sector with the availability of high-level skills in the future. The service of Cuban national are further utilized in transfer of the most critical skills to our local engineers. Ayikho into yokuthenga abantu uthenga a cheap score, uthenga iscore as cheap abantu ne points as cheap People know, and some of them are saying, why taking Cubans to South Africa? When they know but we have a shortage of skills in South Africa, especially the engineers. Therefore, we are saying, Sanukata Bantu, if Cubans are here to transfer skills and leave the country after 3 months. The department intends on taking a serious look at the contributions of its programs, especially those targeting previously disadvantaged business people. The BBBE Amendment Act states that all spheres of government, public entities, and organs of state must report on their compliance with the broad-based black economic empowerment in their audited annual financial statements and annual reports required under the Public Finance Management Act. I am therefore happy to report that our department has an approved BBBE policy that intends to align all our systems and procedures so that we would be ready for the BBBE audit in the next financial year. My speech would not be complete without mentioning our commitment to job creation. Honorable members, the department has been able to create jobs through its programs and projects such as water and sanitation infrastructure development. In the last financial year, the department launched and absorbed 101 military veterans within our rehabilitation of water resource infrastructure, as well as cleaning of canals projects. The department will further create jobs through its projects such as water and sanitation infrastructure. For instance, through the projects that were mentioned by the minister. The minister and I have taken a firm resolution that each of these projects must benefit the communities in the vicinity of these water resources. We want women that are staying nearby rivers and dams benefit from their dams. It can't be right that only the elite that are benefiting from the dams. We are going to fight that with the minister. Everybody will benefit. An aspect of job creation that department is particularly proud of includes the meaning jobs created indirectly through. In
Deputy
conclusion,
Minister, let's hear.
Chairperson
Honourable
Aras,
member.
in connection with Rule 60, time limits for speeches, the minister has far as exceeded the 10 minutes.
Can you sit down, Honourable Member? I think that watch is more accurate than yours. Thank you. Continue, Deputy Minister.
in conclusion, I would like to thank all our people, including all sectoral and traditional institutions. I would also like to thank the minister for her leadership, guidance, and her support. The Freedom Charter, yes, you are the family, you are right. The Freedom Charter and the Constitution of our country opens with the words, "We the people." This means our success as government depends upon the ability to facilitate public participation and the involvement of the people in the work we do. Ndiyabulela. Inkosi.
Thank you, Deputy Minister. Right on time. By the way, Honourable Member Alberts and Honourable Member Carter are partaking in another debate. If they come before the minister responds, we'll afford them the opportunity. We'll then proceed and ask for Honourable Member Makondo to come and speak.
Thanks, Chairperson. Honorable Minister, Honorable Deputy Minister, honorable members. Knowledge is power. Lack of knowledge, it's dangerous. On the 26th of June 1955, the visionary leadership of the ANC convened all South Africans in Kliptown at what is popularly known as Congress of the People, where South Africa's vision was crafted and adopted the Freedom Charter. Freedom Charter remained the only vision and the basis in which the ANC is moving South Africa forward. And I quote, "All national groups shall have equal rights, Close quote. Chairperson, the ANC has approached the issue of attainment of water to all citizens in the country within human rights framework. To this end, the Constitution of South Africa has placed a legal obligation on government to realize people's rights to sufficient water. However, of importance to this debate today are the implication of human rights approach to water and the comprehension of those with right to water. To balance these rights with careful management of our water resources, underpinning the two sides of the approach to water as a fundamental right and creating an enabling environment within institutions, policies and strategies, and the laws is the critical component of human responsibility to the environment. We cannot ignore the complexities and inequities that have created historical imbalances in access to water to all its citizens. But the need to prioritize a mix of options to supply the huge demands for equitable allocation balance against the need for development and economic growth is something the ANC has grappled with since 1994. South Africa, Chairperson, has achieved universal access to water supply, and thanks to the ANC government, which has improved and expanded water infrastructure in the areas that were neglected, such as former Bantustan. Chairperson, ours is not a blame game, but to be hard at work, reversing the imbalances of the past apartheid rule. As a liberation movement, we have a responsibility to change the socio-economic challenges of our people. Chairperson, it is important here today to indicate that the situation our people find themselves in is not a natural disaster, but it is by design. To put my point up front, Chairperson, let me quote the apartheid president, P.W. Botha, in his speech to apartheid cabinet, which some of my colleagues on my left were sitting in that particular cabinet. Chairperson, I quote, we do not pretend like other whites that we like blacks. The fact that blacks look like human beings and act like human beings do not necessarily make them sensible human beings, close quote. This illustrates proper reflection by the apartheid government, denying our people access to water. But here today, Chairperson, the very same proxies of the very same government come here and play games. As the ANC Chairperson, we are a government at work. South Africa, as a water-scarce country,
Chairperson,
has had to make a device solution.
Let's hear, what's the point of order, Chair?
Chairperson, the honourable member is misleading the House in that he says the apartheid government is controlling one of the provinces currently. I don't know which apartheid government he's referring to, but however, Chair, if I may just finish my point of order.
What is the point of
honourable member
order?
wants to look in the right-hand side of the House and see how many National Party members are sitting over there, then he'll know which party he's referring to.
Just sit down. Continue, honourable member.
Thanks, Chairperson. South Africa, as a water-scarce country, has had to make and devise solution that over time requires difficult conversations and questions about how best to meet the country's economic and social priorities related to water for the current and future generations. Fundamental questions related to economics of water, as well as environmental sustainability, meant that government, prior to developing strategies such as National Water Resource Strategy, as well as National Development Plan, has had to answer a series of fundamental questions on rights and responsibilities for prioritizing countrywide changes in water resource management. Although water governance and holistic and integrated approaches to water resource management feature strongly in international water agenda, In South Africa, water governance has issues and distribution have been unevenly skewed. However, the greatest shift has occurred in the emerging appreciation of the key role the governance of water management plays with political changes in South Africa. The emergence of democratic system has allowed for the reform of water sector with regard to policy and organizational structure, water rights and legislation. Chairperson, in order to manage water, one needs a plan, and to plan, one needs information. In a nutshell, you cannot plan for things that you do not know. Having said that, Chairperson,
Thank you, Honourable
46
Member. Your time is up.
Thanks very much, Chair.
Can we now allow Honourable Member Baker to come and speak? Honourable Member Alberts, you will follow Honourable Member Baker. Thank you.
Honourable Chairperson, honourable members, no sane or willing person would voluntarily drink, bathe or play in water polluted by sewage. And yet that is what millions of South Africans are subjected to every day. Despite the Constitution guaranteeing that every person has the right to an environment that is not harmful to their health and well-being, as well as the right to sufficient water. The ANC government committed itself to eliminating the basic water supply backlog by 2008 and the basic sanitation backlog by 2010. And yet here we are in May 2015 with millions of South Africans still living without access to clean, drinkable water, still dependent on rivers and streams for their supply of water. According to research, 3% of all deaths in our country are directly related to the use of unsafe water. Just last week, a 30-year-old man in Trichot in Mpumalanga was diagnosed with cholera after drinking water from a stream in a field where he tends his cattle daily. This stream is being polluted by sewage from a nearby broken pump station. Sadly, this pollution is evident in almost all our rivers and dams all over our country. Midmar Dam in KZN, Minister, is one of those in danger. E. coli levels in water tested near townships located alongside this dam are 300 to 400 times higher than the level which is considered safe for humans. Consider the impact this also has on local tourism. The Midmar Mile attracts approximately 50,000 participants and spectators annually, and it really does boost the local economy. Earlier this year, the Swartkops River in Nelson Mandela Bay Metro was polluted by a raw sewage amount equal to 76 Olympic swimming pools, spilling into it unabated for 15 weeks. An environmental disaster of note. Chairperson, we are at risk of completely devastating the quality of our water supply in South Africa by 2019, unless a considered attempt to remedy the situation is actioned immediately. Poor and non-functioning wastewater treatment plants must receive immediate attention if we are to successfully address this catastrophic issue of pollution. Currently, our country's dams are 79% full, down from 90% a year ago. This is the lowest level since 1992. The danger here is that the water quality is going to decline even further as rivers cannot flush away sewage and other pollutants effectively. The cost of cleansing our water is also rising phenomenally. Honourable members, water preservation is not just an environmental issue, but an economic one as well. Water losses cost us dearly. 445 million rand is lost every year due to leaking or burst pipes as a result of poorly maintained infrastructure, and 157 million due to theft and billing problems. Gauteng metros have a significantly high water loss of close to 40%, Mangaung 39%, eThekwini 35.6%, with the highest losses coming from Nelson Mandela Metro Bay with 43%, and Buffalo City a staggering 47%. The city of Cape Town, of course, has the lowest loss of 20%. Now, if the current trends of pollution and rising costs of water purification are anything to go by, I dare say the Ministry of Water and Sanitation is lacking. Minister, do the honourable thing and hold the culprits of pollution accountable, although I know this is an alien concept for the ANC. Experts agree that by 2025, the demand for water supply in South Africa, the demand for water will outstrip supply. Honourable members,
Thank you,
fellow South
Honourable Member. Your
Africans,
time is up.
like the ANC, our rivers and dams are running dry. But there is hope.
Honourable Member, thank
2016,
you.
Siyeza.
Honourable Member Alberts. But before you even start, Honourable Member Alberts, let's thank members. You know, I've also been part of this house whilst House Chair was chairing. And indeed, we are now indeed behaving like members of Parliament. Thank you, all of us. Thank you very much. Honourable Member Alberts.
Thank you, Chairperson. South Africa is facing a multidimensional crisis. We have seen some of the heads of this dragon in the form of the current power crisis, but there are more sinister ones lurking in the midst. The most dangerous of them all is the one called "we have no water." While government is acting with its usual "there is no crisis" attitude, the evidence is mounting that the next wave to hit South Africa is indeed the water crisis. Indien so 'n krisis ons tref, sal die Eskom-krisis na 'n pikniklyk. Eerstens kan niemand sonder skoon water leef nie, en tweedens gebruik 'n groot deel van die ekonomiese rolspelers gesamentlik tot 10% van ons water. Net soos met die energieprobleem is dit duidelik, vou die watertoevoer, vou die ekonomie en vou Suid-Afrika. Die wyse waarop die ANC omgaan met hulle grondwetlike watervoorsieningsplig is kommerwekkend. Alreeds in 2008 het Dr. Anthony Turton van die WNR die regering gewaarsku dat 'n krisis aan die broei is, en is hy eenvoudig ontslaan bloot omdat hy gesien het watter toekoms ons in die gesig staar. Ons het sy verslag in 2010 weer by die parlement ingedien vir die betrokke minister se aandag, maar daar het natuurlik niks daarvan gekom nie. Die verslag is egter steeds belangrik. One of the most profound findings of Dr. Turton's report was that South Africa has lost its dilution capacity due to over-allocation of national water resources. This means that the infrastructure is also straining. And we can see that now with water pumps continuously failing across the country, raw sewage running into our river systems, and people dying due to contaminated water. Voeg daarby hierdie departement se gebrek aan oorsig ten aansien van waterlisensies aan plaaslike owerhede en jy het 'n resep vir chaos. In die Klerksdorp Matlosana munisipaliteit byvoorbeeld word die Vaalrivier aanhoudend besoedel deur die plaaslike owerheid weens die gebrek aan oorsig. It seems that the water system is following the same trend as that of Eskom, with a lack of maintenance eventually catching up with us. And the lack of maintenance can be directly linked to the lack of capacity. The CSIR confirmed this in 2006 already, and to date nothing has been done about it. Of course, we have to thank the ANC and its cadre deployment policy for this, an unconstitutional policy that is still ongoing today. But this is not all. If one thought cadre deployment will enrich the process of decline, the minister is now gracing us with the knowledge and human resources from Cuba, that crown jewel of development and poverty eradication. Dit beteken, we don't hate them. We know they're just people suffering under a wrong, unjust government, that's all. But they're good people. But they don't have the capacity to teach us anything about water at this moment. Dit beteken weer eens te danke aan die ANC, gaan ons binnekort ook beerdwater in die gesig staar. Beerdwater in plaas van beerdkrag. Die minister sal moet verduidelik waarom dit nie die geval sal wees nie, want die ontvouende feite weerspreek die sentiment van daar is geen krisis nie. And Minister, let me just add, we don't hate anyone, but we have a problem if there's not capacity to resolve problems and to ensure that there's proper service delivery for all the people in this country, especially the poorest of the poor. So please don't say we hate people, because I think that is unparliamentary as far as I'm concerned. Thank you very much.
Ilungu elihloniphekile ubaba uMnguni.
Honorable Chairperson, Water and Sanitation Minister and Deputy Minister, I've seen some Deputy Ministers and Ministers around here, Portfolio Committee Chairperson and Honorable Members, officials, ladies and gentlemen, the ANC in support of this budget vote 36 produced a legend who articulated these wonderful quotations. I open quote. Access to water is a common goal. It is central to social economy and political affairs. He continued to say, let there be work, bread, water, and salt for all. It seems impossible until it's done. That's the ex-President Matiba. The reality of inequity to basic services in South Africa is starkly evident in our inheritance of the major challenges of inadequate infrastructure development in the mainly black townships and rural areas as identified and resolved upon on the 53rd ANC conference. The ANC has to return continually to this inheritance of mixed but rapid deteriorating infrastructure stock. While certain pockets of the country had reasonable infrastructure, the appropriate networks to meet these needs of the population and the economy after 1994 was so skewed that even today, the resultant impacts of this inadequate or no infrastructure are part of the poverty landscape facing these countries. The ANC-led government needed to provide infrastructure that will meet the country's economic demands, while simultaneously redressing apartheid imbalances which happened decades ago and has to be urgently addressed as envisaged by the honorables on my left who do not appreciate the gains in the 21 years of short period the ANC was in government with limited resources. Laba kwatiko nje kuzivusela amanxeba ngekubita Hendrik Verwoerd umqambi welibandlululo ngesihlakaniphi njoba kwentela omnye wabo lo ngumbhali lo bambita ngokuthi ngiAlistair Sparks kule ngofa labo lesanza kudlula angathi kumbuye eva makubala indlela lalela ke honorable balindlela ngibude where is the intellectualism when the majority of our people were denied water during that time of that apartheid architect? Water pipes are still passing through our communities with no drop to minorities and Gulf estates. The ANC is dealing with that myopic vision of that person through the intellectualism of His Excellency Chechu Zuma and the ANC machinery. Since the establishment of democracy in South Africa, one of the greatest challenges has been to provide basic services and the related infrastructure to the majority of the South Africans, which the forefathers of the most honorables in the opposition on my left failed to do and are still praying that we fail. Honorable Balindlela. Besides the obvious benefits of receiving clean, safe water and sanitation, Honorable Baker, such service delivery also aims to improve the quality of life and contribute to poverty alleviation of beneficial communities, which the ANC is ambitious to achieve and will indeed achieve. Chairperson, the ANC is the visionary organization. Nothing wrong with that. While many parties in this House focus on the blame game and feeding the nation with unfounded theories like Honorable Baker statistics, the ANC-led government focuses on infrastructure development. It has strategically positioned itself with the program to develop, rehabilitate, and refurbish raw water resources and water service infrastructure to meet the socio-economic and environmental needs of South Africa as inscripted in the NDP. The minister has alluded, and the deputy minister, to the project that have been executed, still to be executed, are enforced. I think now, Honorable Ponchane, you are recharged. You are recharged because we are coming. Here is another booster. Malunga lahloniphekile. The ANC through Tikolemandi ne-enhle kulo mqombelelo timali wa 2015-16 sibeke eqeleni imali kwenteni infrastructure development program sibeke imali lengetulu kwa 12.4 billion loku 76% wawo wonke umqombelelo wani wetimali ikhule ngamalini more than 3 billion qhuba ANC qhuba. The increase to the water infrastructure development program in the MTEF is mainly driven by the development of bulk water infrastructure, which includes funds allocated for the construction of new dams, rehabilitating and repairing existing bulk infrastructure, including wastewater treatment infrastructure, in line with the government renewed emphasis on infrastructure development and the ANC manifesto. The department has got 229 funded bulk water supply and wastewater treatment infrastructure projects in various stages of the project cycle, of which 21 of them are mega projects. The projects are aimed at increasing and securing the provision of water and at eradicating service delivery backlogs. The project provides mostly pipelines and treatment plants to connect dams with reticulation system. One good example of the integration of built infrastructure across all sectors is the formation of the Presidential Infrastructure Coordinating Committee to undertake infrastructure investment at all levels through various programs, projects, and plans. The intervention of the PIC are cross-cutting, integrated, and supported by 18 strategic integrated projects, which have got 5 core functions to unlock opportunities, transform the economic landscape, create new jobs, strengthen the basics delivery of services, and support the integration of African economics. To all opposition, you must learn to be shapeless and formless like water. When you pour water in the bottle, it becomes a bottle. When you pour it in the teapot, it becomes a teapot. When it moves, it gets into the cracks. Don't be rigid. The ANC support this budget vote.
Ilunga elihloniphekile ubaba uGalo.
Honorable Chair, the AIC is aware of the fact that a major driver for sector reform has been a national political priority to rapidly provide basic services to households previously disadvantaged under apartheid regime. A second driver of reform has been the constitutional imperative to devolve the responsibility of water services to local government. A third driver of reform has been an intergovernmental funding, moving from dedicated and project-based funding to an approach of budget support between national and local government, with a stable and predictable medium-term budgeting framework to ensure speedy provision of basic services to the needy people, more especially in the rural areas. But this national political priority has been thwarted by the web of corruption, which is covering almost all district municipalities in the country. In the financial year 2008-2009, 28 million for sanitation was stolen by top officials in Alfred Nzo District Municipality. The latest is 631 million toilet scandal in Amatole District Municipality, to name but a few district municipalities. Such happenings, Honorable Chair, are a clear indication that the poorest people in the rural areas are not going to get quality and sustainable water until Jesus comes back. Which is why the African Independent Congress is of the view that district municipalities must be done away with, which is why we think that these municipalities must be converted into regional water boards offices under the administration of the National Water and Sanitation Department. The AIC is concerned about the fact that the department seemingly has no clear-cut plan as to how the rural water infrastructure is going to be built. Even the report of the Water Research Commission is silent when it comes to deep rural areas. The department must come up with a clear plan as to how it will build rural water infrastructure. We are not second citizens in the rural areas. We also deserve reliable, quality, and sustainable water services. Honorable Minister, you must engage the Lesotho government that the Pudihari Dam in the Mokhotlong district can also supply water to the people of Matatiele, because the people of Lesotho are residing with the people of Matatiele. So we need water from that dam. We must also benefit, Honorable Minister. Having said that, the African Independent Congress supports the budget. I thank you very much.
Honorable Member Carter. We have had a busy day, Honorable Member Carter.
Thank you, Chairperson. Minister, at the outset, what is your department's relationship with COCTA and Environmental Affairs? Everyone seems to be passing the buck. Who is doing what about the raw sewage spillage into the Midmar Dam that supplies drinking water to some 1 million South Africans? Water samples taken now from that dam shows that there is no oxygen present in the water that goes for drinking water. Other samples show that there is little and no life in the water. Who is responsible? Is it water and sanitation? Is it environmental affairs? Or is it local government? Passing the buck will kill
Honourable
our
Chairperson.
citizens and our children. This has been going on for
Just hold on,
years.
Honorable Member Carter.
Honourable Chairperson, I'm rising on the point of order, point 58, that a member must address the chair and not the minister. That's number 58.
Point taken. Continue, Honorable Member.
Thank you, Chair. Minister, Chair, through you, according to the Institute for Security Studies, current water demand in the country exceeds supply, and this gap is expected to grow over the next 20 years. This is a grave situation that does not require any political obfuscation. On ENCA, last week, the minister downplayed the severity of the situation, claiming that the demand for water only amounts to 75% of supply. What is the real situation, Minister? And what does the department intend to do about it? Is there an impending crisis or is there not? Is this another Eskom in the making or is it not? The water of our oceans are turning into vinegar because of the excess carbon in the atmosphere. The water of our rivers, on the other hand, are polluted and contaminated. As a nation, we are experiencing problems with both quality and quantity. We have no other country but this, and no other planet but this planet. Water is life. And when we fail to act to preserve water and maintain its quality, we put life itself in danger. It is really not a joke. Why must we hear that a plan relating to our water resources and its usage is being prepared? I'm really pleading on behalf of the Congress of People and asking, will we ever see meaningful implementation? Sanitation is another huge imperative of our times. And I'm going to ask again, what are we doing about the raw sewage that is leaking into Midmar Dam? There is no transformation without proper sanitation for all. It is despicable that we must hear in this budget that we are still endeavouring to get rid of a bucket system. As far back as 2010, the UN General Assembly passed a resolution declaring the right to safe and clean drinking water and sanitation as a human right that is essential for the full enjoyment of life and all human rights, I close quote. I hope that the department and the minister shares our concern at the municipal governance of water and sanitation. Most of our municipal water and sewage reticulation systems are in a state of decay following decades of poor or no maintenance. We are sitting on a time bomb of growing water loss and rising fears of major sewage spillage. Has the minister intervened in the scandalous 631 million tender awarded to a plethora of ANC cadres and family in the Amatola district municipality? If not, why not? COPE places great emphasis on a proper and above-board infrastructure development and rehabilitation of infrastructure. Let me address the question of revenue collected by the boards. From the sale of bulk water, sanitation and other services to water service authorities in their areas. Are the municipalities paying the boards regularly and fully, or as with Eskom, are they owing the boards big amounts of money? Thank you.
Your time is up. Thank you very much, Member. Colleagues and honourable members, we were doing very well. But it looks like now we are back where we were. Hey, ask us many. Honourable Member Pilankolo.
Msamo wa Xitulu,
Mchaviseki holobye wa ndzawulo ya swa mati na nkululo manani Mkonyani, xandla xa holobye manana Jwede, ba holobye lava mi nga kona haleni, vachaviseki hinkwenu, vayeni va hina va ku hlonipheka swinene, i nhlikani maAfrika-Dzonga lamanene. African National Congress yi seketela xiave xa swa timali leswi pimanyetiweke xa vhoti ya 36. Honorable Balindlela, ntiyiso wa vava kambe wa ntshunxa. Mani Khawula, mavunwa yana magoza mantsongo. Xivuriso xiri, u nga dungi xihlovo, hi ku mundzuku loko u lava ku ya nwa mati i ta kuma mathakile. You were members of the ANC, deployed by the ANC, and you are the one who caused all the troubles that you were talking about here. So you must bear the consequences. As honorable members, you must see how to finish. Chairperson, the involving of water sector regulation and legislation in its current phase is as a result of the huge challenges faced by the current government of the African National Congress in working towards redressing the past imbalances of limited or no access to water to the majority of black people in South Africa. This is more specifically contained, contextualized, and on a daily basis impacted on the lives of the majority of black people who did not have access to clean potable water. These are, and I have to emphasize, contained in the 1912 Irrigation and Conservation of Water Act, the 1956 South African Water Act, and the 1913 Land Act. The vestiges of this apartheid species of legislation are still evidence as the current government works towards reforming past imbalances in law and regulation. Chairperson, allow me to shift away from the depressing moment of focusing on apartheid structured water legislation and regulation. Radical transformation within the water and sanitation sectors is currently at the forefront of our new ANC-led government. In 1996, the Constituency of the Republic of South Africa was passed. The Constitution of the Republic of South Africa was passed, and specifically Section 24, Chapter 2, the Bill of Rights stipulates that all South Africans have a right to an environment that is not harmful to their health or well-being, and to have their environment protected for the benefit of present and the future generations. Section 27(1)(b), Chapter 2, in the Bill of Rights again stresses the importance of the right to all citizens to have access to sufficient food and water. Chairperson, more recently, the concept of developmental water management emerged with the drafting of the National Water Resources Strategy. The strategy requires the consideration of the entire water value chain in terms of how water can contribute to achieving equitable, beneficial, and sustainable development across the country. The sentiment and principle of equitable, beneficial, and sustainable consideration of the entire water value chain underlying the executive initials mentioned above is clearly stressed in our 2014 election manifesto, in which the president of our country and the president of the ANC, Honorable J.G. Zuma, said, and I quote, "Our struggle has not now reached the second phase in which we will implement radical socio-economic transformation to meaningfully address poverty, unemployment, and inequality. It is with pride that we as the ANC will make sure that we commit ourselves in working with our people to address the challenges and move South Africa further forward towards the achievement of the vision of the Freedom Charter. The right to water, sanitation, and clean environment, as stipulated in the Constitution, forms the cornerstone which gives meaning to the lived realities of the majority of citizens denied the fundamental basics. Within the water and sanitation sector itself, the executive, through the Department of Water and Sanitation, has a sector leader and regulator, has had to systematical structure its work to ensure that principles in the Constitution and relevant pieces of legislation regulations are operationalized for the improved and better institutional management of water resources at all levels of government. This program received the allocation of 231.3 million in the 2015 financial year. Program 5, Water Sector Regulation. However, of importance to this budget vote, which clearly Air articulates the election manifesto of the ANC, which is to expand access
Thank you,
to
Honourable
water.
Member.
Thank you. The ANC supports the budget.
Honourable Member Passon.
Chairperson, Honourable Minister, members and guests. The latest Municipal Water Service Performance Assessment Report showed that 8 out of the top 10 municipalities listed are governed by the DA. This includes the City of Cape Town as the top metro. This performance speaks of our values of freedom, fairness and opportunity, where government is accountable to the people. And for those who don't believe it, here is your report, Minister. South Africa is by all standards a very dry country, yet this government continues to act as if fresh water is an unlimited resource. Well, it's not. While load shedding continues, there is even a more worried prospect ahead, water sharing. Already communities suffer for days, sometimes months, without water. Last year, the government indicated that capital investment in new water and sanitation infrastructure over the next 10 years is projected to require estimated 670 billion rand, but that only 45% of this is currently allocated. After Minister Nene's budget speech this year, Dr. Anthony Turton of the University of the Free State was quoted as saying that the budget gave no sense that this country has a water crisis. As we know, non-functional wastewater treatment plants run by municipalities and the mining industry are the main contributors to the contamination of our water sources. Various forms of contamination has also affected the Hartbeespoort Dam and the Umgeni River. Honourable Chair, Minister Mokenyane is missing in action and has only attended one portfolio committee meeting since the 5th Parliament started this year. Is the Minister serious about solving our water and sanitation challenges?
Just hold your horse, Honourable Members. Again, please. There's no problem with interjecting, but don't drown the speaker, please. Thank you. You can take your podium, Chair.
Thank you, Chair. It took the Minister 12 months to implement the recommendations of the report on the failure of water supply in Maribeng. You were informed through written questions about sewer problems in Bella Bella, Modimolle, Mugapung, Lepelale, Tabazimbi, and Cradock, to name a few. The result, no improvement. South African engineers seek jobs, but you appoint Cuban engineers with substandard qualifications. To resolve the above problems, the DA recommends we need to ensure that we improve our ability to hold polluters criminally responsible and the sanctions are severely harsh. Any new legislation should also make provision that municipalities to lose their status as a water service authority if they cannot perform the functions adequately.
Point of order.
Okay, just take your seat.
I just want to check if you are related to Dr. Vouta Passon.
Honourable Deputy Minister, that is out of order.
Chair, if the Minister was in the portfolio committee, she could have asked me the question there. Honourable Chair, any new legislation should also make provision for municipalities to lose their status as water service authorities. The Portfolio Committee on Water and Sanitation invite relevant engineering associations to make presentation on how they could assist the department in appointing South African engineers. Honourable Chair, the Minister must put up a few bars and commit herself to attend Portfolio Committee meetings. It was announced today that the Minister, and I quote, Mokenyane says they are left with 27,000 bucket system toilets to eradicate. Minister, here's a report of the 11th of March this year. We've got 15,000 bucket toilets in this country. Honourable Chair, the Nelson Mandela Bay Metro is facing water restriction because the Nooit Gedacht low-level water scheme does not have the funding to be completed. Yet last year, 3 weeks before the election, President Zuma and members of his cabinet stood in front of a packed hall in Port Elizabeth and promised the citizens that national government would get 360 million needed to complete the scheme, when in fact, there was no intention to do so. Maybe we should ask Mr. Danny Jordan whether he could ask the ANC president when he will pay the money. Chair, Minister, the Modimolle asset spillage has been declared a crime scene. A company offered to assist the department to clean up the Nile River. You rejected that. It would have saved this government 500,000 rand. Why, Minister? Would you answer on that? Please, Minister, I await your answer on that. Minister, the DA's message is very clear.
Thank you very much.
Stop
The
your
Honourable Member
politicking
Passon.
and get serious about water in this country.
Asibize ilunga elihloniphekile uma ke umaluleka.
Thank you, Chairperson. Chairperson, President Jacob Zuma prepare a State of the Nation address. O bolela le baahi ba South Africa. A ba botsise ditletlebo tsa bona hore mathata a bona ke eng. Ha tla mo a fa marching order to the ministers, o ba fa se baahi ba se kopileng. So tse di le mo budgeteng a tsa rona e le ANC a tsa mang ke tsa baahi ba South Africa. So rena re le mokgatlo wa African National Congress re supporta budget re kgone go direla baahi se ba se kopileng mo go president. Minister, ke batla go botsa ntho engwe ba re le hodu anke le utswetswa. Le hodu o ka se lutswetse ka la itse re ho utsuwa bjang. Hantse batho ba lla ba bolela ka cadre deployment. Ba tlhalohanya gore o tlo tsaya motho wa tlhalohanyang ANC, wa tlhalohanyang gore batho ba bantsho ba batlang ba ira e bana ba nya go letlisetsa dinoga le diphephe tse di tlo utswang di documentary di kry mo media everywhere. So ka Setsonga ba re masasana o fele nobeni. Ha le ka tsaya batho ba la ba kentsha ka mo le ipolaile le ANC. So ha hona go government e busang e ka tsamayang ya fitla ya tsaya motho wa sa tlhalohanyeng se ba se tlhokang ya mme ka mo office. Batho ba Cuba ba tlile mo go thusa rona re le ma South Africans. Ra itse hore di engineers tse ntši ke tsabo a ke tsore ke re ke maburu ke a rohana ro bya. Mara di engineers tsa rona tse ntši ke magoa. Ene magoa a re tepela. Ka tsone le tlo ema le re di spillage di tshwantse di be teng ka re batho ba berekang dilo tse ke batho ba lona a se batho ba rona. So rona re kaone ka gore di spillage tse di le bolelang di tla ka accident. Ha o tshwane le nako ya voter basona a tlile a tshela poison ka mo metsing gore batho ba no ba shwe tse di tla ka accident. Ene ke dilo tse di botlhokwa tse leng gore vele ke nnete re tshwantse re di lokise re le African National Congress. Through you, Chairperson, me Makaula ona le passion ya community mara o timetse because of kamara EFF ha hona se ba dumelana le solo re siriwe ha tla ka di picture are bathushi ba nna go ka ira dumela mara ha re budget e ska yo ba berekela o di tlisetsa dilo tse mo rona because of ha tlisa dilo mo a di tlisa are thusang setšhaba ka 1 2 3 a ska fetsa re budget a supportive so ro bereka ka dilo tse batho ba ba di tlhokang. Chairperson, Honorable Baker, if you don't have time to read, you don't have time to lead. President Jacob Zuma o boletse khala ntse a bolela ka problem ya di leakages. O boletse ka program ya di leakages. Minister hana le 2 minutes, deputy minister a tlile mo bolela how are they going to address issues tsa di leakages. Ba o fila rona le program e bana le yona e ba tlo tsamba tshaba mo South Africa ba sa berekeng ba tlo thusa ka di leakages. So o batlang Cliptown e tlo kry a response e tshwanetseng e seng e wena re fostang o re tle ka yona.
Honourable Member, when you address the House, can you address the House through the Chair?
Through you, Chairperson. Honorable Gallo, your nearest police station, e tlhoka mmereko, tsamaya o reporta di-case tsa batho ba ba utswang bao ba itseng. ANC, a yo thibela hore tsamaya o reporta mang wa utswitseng eng tšhelete ene tshwantse e thuse setšhaba. Honorable Carter, I'm sorry for you because you bring this debate to a question session and you have time to ask minister questions during questions time. So because you don't have information, you just debate for the purpose of debating. So I don't know what to say to you. So Chair, through you, Chairperson, we should not take our debate as issues of politicking.
Honourable member, take your seat. Can we hear what point you are raising on?
Chair, is the member prepared to take a question?
No, Chairperson. I don't have time, Chair. Chairperson, South Africans aba rata ho bolela dilo tse pila tse di irahalang mo South Africa ka re di ira ke African National Congress. Ne re tsamaile re tswile re ile ko Korea. Di policies tsa fiwang example ka tsona ke tsa South Africa. Di minister tsa rona re butsiwa ka tsona left and right ko re tsamayng go teng. Batho ba ba yang outside le honorable Person Shumo. Ne a le kwa ene na le proud ka South Africa ka re everything was on the board. It was about South Africa, the policies tse ba nang le tsona tse pila tse di berekang. Mara problem gore di ka se bonagale ka gore batho ba batla mo ha ba tle le thusa setšhaba ba tlela o nyaka di vote. Bjana ka he ba tsere me balindlela nna ke na se ke se utlwa mo wena ka re problem gore ba o beile mola gore batho ba ko Eastern Cape ba bona o ka re ho nyaka batho ba bantsho ka mara DA a hona se ba boetse sona mo se se botlhokwa because hanke be lona ba no le bona he ba ka o tsia ba o ya premier ya ko Eastern Cape ke so tlo sira so paletseng go sira kana kwa ANC because cheleta government ke one cheleta government ke one.
Take your seat.
Chairperson, if you cast aspersions against any member of the House, should it not come in the format of a motion to the House? I think it should be withdrawn.
Honourable member, on what issue has aspersion been cast? So that you enlighten me.
Unless there is a problem with the translation, okay, then against Honourable Balindlela.
No, I'm just asking, what is it that has been said that cast aspersion? That's my question.
That she is not here for the people of South Africa, and that it's just to get votes. That's the only reason.
Honourable member Carter, let's go and listen to the recording. We'll come back on that.
Thanks, Chair.
Thank you. Continue,
Honourable Chairperson. Rona re le baahi ba South Africa nna ke tswa Mathibe start re itumella budget rona di toilet tsa rona re tsana ne re bina jika ka mohare o ntse mo sitting o ya ka mo le ka mo ka ne di se balance but today Moretela local municipality ena le di toilet tse di tlileng di tlisa ke government ya African National Congress batho ba rona ba itumelletse tsona ebile sentsane ba budget tse hape ho oketsa hore re felletse re ntse mo di toilet tse di tshwanetseng le nna ke tshwana le mme Makhaula ke re di hese ke bolela ka dilo tse ke phelang ka tsona and then rona re le ba emedi ba setšhaba re tshwanetse re thusa setšhaba sa rona mo na le di-challenge nka se tle mo ka re Moretela local municipality ha ena metsi ntse ke itse gore baahi ba rona ba kolota tshwane ba restrictela metsi ntse ke itse gore tabola tshwana le re lekane re le batho ba Moretela local municipality. Thank you, Chair.
Honourable Minister, it's now your opportunity to respond. You had 10 minutes, but you saved one minute.
Yes.
So you have 11 minutes.
Yes. Bring back my 1 minute. Thank you very much, Chair. And let me take this opportunity to thank members who have actually made substantial contribution in this particular debate. Chairperson, one of the things that we need to appreciate is that the issues of water and sanitation over the past years in South Africa were used to discriminate people, were used also to ensure that the dignity of the African woman is continuously undermined, were used also as an opportunity to give white Afrikaner families a space for them to grow in the water sector, where you find 3 generations of the same family working in the water sector. What we are seeking to do with the Cubans, we are bringing Cubans who have the skill and the knowledge. They are casualties of them having been embargoed by America, and because Cuba is not a signatory to the American Accords, and today you call them substandard. They are not substandard. They are doing much more better. They are sustaining the commitment of government of transferring skills and knowledge, but also, honorable members.
Minister, colleagues, again. You know, those guests, they have a lot of respect for all of us. Let's not reduce this respect that they have for us. Please. Go on, Minister.
Thank you. But as the ANC and the people of South Africa, who are we to quickly forget those who were with us during trying times? And we will forever identify with them because of their capability and the commitment to help us reconstruct South Africa. We will bring more Cubans to transfer the skills. We will train more South Africans to acquire the skills and allow the transformation of the sector. Honorable Chairperson, I also want to deal with what member Adrian Basson, what member Basson had raised.
Point of order.
That's the second time. Honourable Minister, take a seat.
The Minister here, you made an earlier ruling, Chairperson, about the inappropriateness of referring to the member, and she knows what she's doing. She did it intentionally.
I'm sorry.
And I ask that she withdraws that. Honourable Basson is an honourable member of this House, and if the Minister wants to be treated with respect, she must treat other members of the House with respect as well.
Let's speak to that. I think the Minister said sorry.
Sorry.
I think she indicated that
apologize.
this was done not by purpose. She said sorry.
I apologize, Chair, but I'm very proud to associate with Inkosi Sibonelo Mkhize. If that can be called Sibonelo, I will not actually be embarrassed. One Mkhize is the same as another Mkhize, Siyafana Sonke. So I'm not proud of my family identity. Chairperson, one of the things that I want to also respond to, it's the notion that has been raised that we are not responding to the water challenges in South Africa. And yet we have spoken about water security, we have spoken about water infrastructure management, but we have also spoken about dealing with better behavior when it comes to the use of drinkable water. What we seek to do also is to review the licensing, including the water ownership patterns in our country. We have said that. But because people wanted to just clamor on issues that we're busy working on as a country, as enshrined in the NDP, why must we also come to this particular August House and even lie and mislead this House like what member Adrian Basson had said, talking about thousands of, is it Adrian? Zibafana Labantu.
Excuse me, your name is Leon. There is no Adrian Basson in this House, Chairperson. This Minister is turning it into a joke and a game.
Okay.
She's calling the Minister by a first name which he doesn't have. His name is Honourable Leon Basson. Are you related to Idi Amin? Are you related to Idi Amin?
Honourable member, before we rule on the matter, can you just withdraw your latest statement? Then we'll ask the Minister as well to withdraw.
I will happily withdraw.
Thank you.
Withdraw unconditionally.
That's it.
There are
Minister,
two of them that must withdraw.
Now, Honourable Minister, just withdraw.
I unconditionally withdraw.
Thank you.
Honourable Leon, is it Leon? Basson, yes. Honourable Leon Basson. The member comes here and he puts thousand numbers of units that have to do with the eradication of the bucket system in the formal townships. It is not true. We only have 27,000 that we have to eradicate. The total number that you have has to do with the sanitation program for the entire country, not only for the townships. We're talking about communities that are much more better. And I want to challenge Honorable Member Balindlela. When I was the Premier, we eradicated the bucket system in Gauteng. We're only left with Sakane under 100. In the Eastern Cape, Makana still has a huge
Chairperson,
number of toilets.
This member is misleading the House.
Minister.
She knows very well about the bucket toilets in Alexandra. She is misleading the House.
Honorable member, you know as I know, if you go that route, you can only do it through a substantive motion. You know as I know, please. Please, would you mind to take your seat? Thank you very much.
When she was the Premier, she could not even assist, and hence she had moved to the other side in pursuing the objectives of the Freedom Charter in Sponza Nankosi in the Eastern Cape, where we
Honorable
still
Minister,
have challenges.
Minister, just a minute. Colleagues, again, please, those guests there respect all of us. They respect all of us, but the way we are behaving now, I'm not sure what they will think of us. Continue, Minister.
Chair, we are here
Sorry, Carter, Honorable Member Carter.
You know, Chairperson, really, with respect, I just want to say substantive motions are not only for the opposition. It's a two-way street. When the opposition, whenever we raise something, there's nothing about a substantive motion. But if it's against any member of a ruling party, then there must be substantive motions. Why?
Honorable Member Carter. Honorable Member Carter, for us to get your point of view and you expand on any member misleading the House, we need the substantive motion, whether it's by opposition or by the governing party. These are the rules. Rules are rules. So we can't have different rules for different folks. Thank you. Continue, Minister.
Thank you very much, Chair. Again, members of the Democratic Alliance come here and raise issues, yes, that have to do with the incapacity of local government that in line with the Back to Basics program we are dealing with. I mentioned 27 district municipalities and Nelson Mandela. But when the honorable member came here to speak about spillages into our rivers and streams, she forgot, and she talks about 6 weeks and so on, but 1 day of spillage is one too many. Here in the Western Cape, since October 2014, in Gordons Bay, there has been spillage that cuts across our own communities, and the cleaning of the spillage is only happening when it goes to the elite and the white communities. Go today, it is still happening. And therefore, that is precisely because your own interventions are interventions of protecting the previous establishment but refuse to redress. I also take exception that people can stand in this august house and say it is only the honorable member, not Simo, that you can come here and say it is only you who can restore the dignity. You messed our dignity. You messed our dignity. We are sorting out the mess. You even had to bring somebody to your own National Congress to come and give salutations to Hendrik Verwoerd, precisely because of you wanting to become a lager, not only a white lager, but a lager of white supremacy, using the black people there.
Minister, take a seat, Minister. What is your point of order?
I'm going to give it to you.
Okay.
The Honorable Minister, Chairperson, continues to express in this House racial division. She has a responsibility as a Minister of the people of South Africa to treat South Africans equal, black and white. She's failing what Nelson Mandela stood for, what Gordon Beck stood for. That's racism at its best.
Honorable member, can you sit down? That's not a point of order.
Order, Chairperson.
That's not a point of order.
Order, Chairperson. Order. No, I want.
Well, what is your point of order? Because we have just ruled on this matter.
No, I have requested before.
Oh, okay.
Chairperson,
Okay.
to the first Chairperson that you have made an order in this house, and that order must stay of misabuse of chairpersons by the DA. We stopped the EFF. Now they are coming in. Please, Chairperson, stand on that when you make it.
Honorable member, sit down. Honorable Minister, continue with your response.
Thank you very much, Chair. The other thing I want to raise is that when it suits members of the opposition, we do not have to go through our normal supply chain systems. Just as what Member Passon has indicated, that there was a company that he actually carried to bring as part of those who can bring solutions to RTPS. If I had brought Keys and Matlangu company, it would have been called corruption. But because it's people you know, you think we're not going to do that. Instead, what we will seek to do is to open up and finding the solutions of RTPS, acid mine drainage and stuff, will create new black industrialists. We will impose quotas on the established companies. We will ensure that we create new industries and that there is also transfer of skills. We are in that process. We are doing it. We will not actually bring what you are carrying in your pocket. That will not happen. We'll rather use our water agencies to do that. Because if it was a Mukonyani and daughters, you'll say it's corruption. But they came with your bag, you are comfortable with them. Just to respond to the issues that are related to what the EFF has raised, I do appreciate Mama Logokshilo. And I understand inkinga yakho yokuthi ungasisupport kule budget. Ngoba siniphuce inyama ibisemlonyeni eGiyani. Namuhla esikwenzayo eLimpopo ukuthi siqede yonke lento embibi yenzwa umholi wenu ephuca imali kubo masipala efaka amabhohole angenamanzi egijimisa abaholi bakwamasipala ukuthi abapheye namathenda. Sikulenkinga esibhekene nayo ngenxa yomholi wenu akabuyise imali zethu sikwazi yokusiza abanye abantu.
Minister, take your seat. Uthini ke ma?
Bengifuna ukwazi ukuthi uminister lo mbuzo njengoba usho nje athi umholi wethu uphuce izimali lapha. Unabo unofakazi. Mayimnabo kufanele ngabe uyabubeka ngaphambili hayi ayikhulume la ngoba okokuqala mukho yena la. Ngiyabonga.
Hlala phansi ma.
Cha izwakele ma ubufakazi bukhona. Leyo kampani yomholi wenu siyikhiphile soze sathola ama contract eLimpopo sibakhwiphile nabaholi bakwamasipala abasebenza ngale inkinga lezi futhi nabalunga weANC abesebenzisana naye siwakhiphile kungakho sifakile ipele kube yona
sorry ngiyabonga.
Minister, any casting of frustration on any member of this house should come through a substantive motion. And therefore, we can't allow that any member is accused of wrongdoing outside of court processes or outside of a substantive motion. Can you withdraw that part?
I will withdraw, but what I want to emphasize...
Chairperson.
I withdraw.
Thank you.
Withdraw.
Chairperson.
Can I proceed? Don't provoke me.
Chairperson, can I ask whether the minister is willing to take a question?
I'm ready.
Thank you, Chairperson. Can I ask the minister when she will make sure that
Just a minute, Passon. Honourable Member Passon. Honourable Member Passon, by the way, you are asking through me.
Chair, I apologize. I asked a question through you
so
to the
that
minister.
we don't have a discussion between you and the minister in this august house.
The minister answered me directly, so I asked through you, Chair.
Minister, are you prepared to take a question?
Come.
Okay.
Come. The minister said I must come. Chair, through you. Minister, when are you going to keep to your promise to pay the 360 million rand to the Nooit Gedag scheme, which he promised in Port Elizabeth 3 weeks before the election.
It is not about a promise. Actually, you are late. We are on site. We are working with the Nelson Mandela municipality. Therefore, it doesn't help.
Mama, usukuma ngaliphi iphuzu ke mama?
Oh, nami bengifuna ukumbuza umbuzo.
Minister ngovumela umbuzo phela. Lo wakabhasona uvunyelwe nguwe avunyelwa ngayithi. Uyavumela nalona?
Hayi angizukulwa nje ngicela ukubuza umbuzo nje sihlala.
Minister uyavumela umbuzo. Okay. Buza ma.
Ya ngiyabonga sihlalo wami. Nakuwe minister ngiyabonga. Asilwi na kuphela inkinga ezaphansi kubantu. Minister ngifuna ukwazi ukuthi ngoba uyayibona icorruption eyenziwe ka umholi wami. Uthini ngale project ku Ward 54 eyafaka amapayipi isuwa. After that yangayiqeda kuyimanje ku Ward 54 ko 9 ko 7 abanawo amanzi banukelwa into zaziyo. Kodwa inkampani leyo ngecorruption ye-ANC bayithola imali. Ngifuna ukwazi ngalokho. Okwesibili kunama house connection angekho angafakwanga kuyimanje leyo mizi igcwele inde. Ngifuna ukwazi minister ngoba yonke lonto ikhona ngiyabonga.
Ubuza umbuzo wodwa phela kodwa asicale la ucale khona. Ngoba awucale khona. Yima. Ngithi la ucale khona ucale endaweni embi ngoba sithe uminister lo kakhulume ngomholi wakho akuhoxise ukhoxisile. Manje ucale lapho awuhoxiseke lapho.
Nami ngiyaxolisa.
Awuveke siyabona.
Angixolise nami mama ngisho ngithi cha kunophenyo lenziwe umkhandlu waseThekwini kune report esiphumile upremier seKZN ubhizi usebenza ngayo. Okugcina ngifuna ukukusho inkinga ezibhekane nomkhanya kude inkinga ezibhekene neShemula water scheme inkinga ezadalwa inkatha isaphethe laphana. Esikwenzayo manje sicazulula inkinga ngoba ngikhuluma manje la
Minister isikhathi sakho siphelile. Isikhathi siphelile minister.
Point of order.
Isikhathi sika minister siphelile.
Point of order.
Nifuna ukuthi singapheli isikhathi.
Asilungise lokho.
Phela you would say mina nginikeza uminister isikhathi esiningi. Siphelile isikhathi.
Hlalo. Honorable Chairperson.
Longa elihloniphekile.
Honorable Chairperson.
No, I hear you.
I think the Hansard.
Yes.
The record of the Hansard are very important.
Wonderful.
So therefore, we need to correct what the minister just said. Because any political ignoramus.
Just a minute, Baba. Let me get advice. Ngoba, the minister now has left the podium. Now, let me get advice.
No. We have to correct this.
I am told that that is a dispute of fact, and that is not allowed. Thank you very much.
Another point of order?
No. It can't be a point of order. Tala Pansbab. Colleagues and members and guests, let's thank all of you for this very hot debate. Let's thank you, Minister. And also let's thank our guests. As we all know, our work as members is not done as yet. Let's be reminded that there is a debate on trade and industry and also telecommunication and postal services. And those debates are taking place at 1640. What's the time now? Almost there. The first one, trade and industry, is right here in the National Assembly. And the telecommunications and postal services is in the old assembly. And that concludes this debate on sanitation and water. Thank you very much, members.